So today we did a simple glam on Kate. Kate's skin is more of an oily skin type. She also has problems with the makeup wearing on her skin. Yes. And actually staying. So we kind of broke down some products, mostly powders, to help her get through the day. And then also kind of focusing on stuff that you can touch up throughout whatever your event you're going to, or even just the work day, or even if you're just sitting on your couch.
Yeah, exactly.
And using the right products that kind of work well with each other, and then kind of learning what a nude lip is for you. We didn't really do any of the eye on camera, but even keeping that really simple and really doable. We pushed her limit by using some highlighter, but using the right...
That's okay.
Yeah, using the right formula, still using powder. And it only took us 501 powders and products and a bottle of wine to get through this. But we're going to have a lot of time on our hands, so hopefully we can do more of this.
No, in all sincerity, it was very, it felt accessible to me to be able to not only have the products, but to accurately put them on and to make it last. So obviously, like I said, at some point in the video, I'm not sure where it is in the video, but I like not only looking good on camera, but I like it to be feasible to go about my day to day. And especially this is to me like a very easy day to night, just almost like on the go, like your entire day look. And with all the powders that we use, it feels very realistic to just keep touching up as I need, and I can upkeep this look.
Yeah, I think that the only upkeep that you're really going to be looking at, because we used a pretty decent coverage concealer, pretty good foundation, you're really just going to be powdering from day to night to get you through dinner. But this is one of those looks that you can go to a wedding with this, you can go to work, you can kind of do anything with this and not look overdone,
right?
Or really not look underdone. So it's definitely makeup. This is not your tinted moisturizer and out the door go to yoga class, but this is definitely, if you're looking to just amp up your daily routine, this is definitely the video for you. So please
like and subscribe. And if you have any wine recommendations for me, let me know, because I'm trying a new bottle every week.
So we're going to get right into this. We're going to start by priming your face, which we already did. And we used the Fenty Instant Retouch Primer, which I've been using the last 2 times on you, and it's worked out really well.
Because she's an oily.
So we're going to use the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. And with this, you want to shake it up a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to use shade 5.75. I'm going to put that on my hand. I'm going to mix that in a little bit, let that warm up. And then I'm just going to take a foundation brush. This happens to be the Makeup by Mario Sephora collection. And then all I want to do is just kind of push this into the skin. It's going to seem a little bit yellow on her, but what I want to do is I want to cancel out some of the pink in her natural skin tone. And
yeah, because I've been using this new product. Love it. It brings out a natural flush in my skin. I don't know what it is, but it's like the little bit more that I use, the more pink comes out in my skin. Couldn't even tell you.
We're already glasses deep here from the eye process, so bear with us.
I feel like the thing that sucks about whenever I try out new foundations is that what's buildable coverage for everyone else may not be buildable for me, and vice versa, and all these different things. So that's the only thing that's not fun, is like, what's that first time of putting foundation on your skin going to be like versus the 3rd or 4th time you put it on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, this is the first time I've used this on you, and already I've seen just how well this kind of like merges with your skin. I mean, the color itself, like, you can mix 7 different foundations to get exactly what your shade is, but sometimes you want to use the tones of foundations to kind of cancel or correct what's underneath. I want this to be kind of realistic. It's not, we're not doing a photo shoot, you're not going to a party, you're not doing something like that. You're just in front of 7...
just with some good makeup on.
It's not true. Under 17,000 lights, obviously this is going to be a little bit different, but what I'm trying to do is really recreate something that you can do on a daily basis and not feel like you're going to work. Well, no one's going to work right now, but...
Hashtag lockdown.
So I'm going to add another pump to this. And just
so relatable. I hate watching that. I did like a pump and a half. Okay, bye.
Well, it all depends. Some people's faces like eat makeup, And
what would you say mine does? Drinks it?
I would say
repels it?
Yeah, repels is like a better word. Your face makeup tends to melt.
When you've used this foundation before, how does it last?
Personally, I feel like this grabs powder really well. So you can, honestly, it's really slick and it's really dewy when you start.
Yeah.
And then it actually ends up being more on the full coverage side when you start to powder it, just because it grabs the product. And it's not going to brush off as much. I gotcha.
Thank you.
So with the eye we did today, we just did something really neutral. We just started with all browns. There's no other colors. I just kind of used a mix of different palettes.
What'd you use, Anastasia?
Yeah, Anastasia, all the matte shades. We didn't use any shimmer.
Period.
And I like taking the foundation and going over the lip line a little bit so it makes it really neat when you go and line the lip later. She has a really defined lip, but this really helps you. If someone kind of has a blended lip line, which kind of happens as you age, it also gives you a nice clean line to go by. So that is the foundation, and we're going to move right on to concealer. We're going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer.
Love.
And what I like about this is that you can use this to contour, you can use this to highlight, and you can use this to kind of spot correct, just like what we're going to do now. So I actually put that right on top of my hand where the foundation was, so they kind of blend together. And then all I'm going to do is just kind of make an upside down triangle, starting right on the side of the bridge of the nose, and then kind of pat it in. And then this is where the biggest hollow is on most people's face, so you kind of want to distribute the most amount of product right there, and then just kind of fan out from there. So some people don't need all of that. You could probably stop there. Midsummer, once like you're super tan, maybe you don't want as much coverage. But right now, we're just going to pack it on. Are you somebody that uses concealer every day? I'd like you to answer that question.
Honestly, if I'm using like my Fenty foundation, probably not, because it's so full coverage that I don't like packing on top of that. But I feel like if I'm doing like a much lighter coverage, like more like day to day, like I would definitely throw like the NARS concealer on, maybe like a tinted powder, or like even like a mineral powder, unpopular opinion, and then bronzer, and it just looks really natural on me, especially with like the skin type that I have. Sometimes I love doing like a full face of makeup just because it's like a canvas and I get to do whatever I want, especially if it's for like an event or like a dinner or something. But I also feel like so many people are used to seeing me like natural, which is the bare minimum that I do. Yeah. It's not like a full day's glam, and that's usually when I feel the most comfortable. But it's fun to like play around with both. But no, if I'm doing like a matte full coverage foundation, I probably won't do concealer.
So why I chose not to use a matte foundation today is because we're gonna actually press a pressed powder. I knew it was gonna come out, and I'm not the one drinking. We're gonna put a pressed powder right over the foundation, and why I want to do that is I want to make sure that her makeup stays in place. And I'm not going to just use a translucent powder because I don't want it to look ashy, or I don't want it to look dull. So I still want it to have a nice warm tone like what we put on with the foundation, and I don't want to lose that. And we talked about this last time I did your makeup, is that you feel just with translucent powder that you can kind of get like a gray undertone underneath your eyes. And that will really
And Homegirl's not ready for that yet.
So as you can see where I'm applying this, it's just where you want the light. I like to apply my concealer on the forehead in like a dome shape. And what I like about that...
Dome shape on the dome piece?
Dome shape on the dome piece. Is it's going to give you a nice warm shape from your foundation. So it's kind of doing your contour work for you. So I'm going to take a beauty blender and I'm going to dampen that with the Mario Badescu spray. I already dampened them earlier, but I just want to keep it nice and wet for this half. And then when we do the powder later...
Insert wink. Because I can.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press right where we were going. So beat the face with the beauty blender. And And I like to bring my concealer pretty close up to the waterline of your eye. And what I find that
Did you cover my zit down there?
Yeah, there's a little bit there, but I can do more.
Thank you.
I like to do my concealer in layers. I don't like concealers like Shape Tape or things that just kind of go to the extreme right off the bat. I don't think that it's efficient that way because then you end up blending and blending and blending. About
is like I might find like a great concealer, but then that concealer doesn't always work well with like the foundation that I'm using. That's so time consuming. And I'm sorry, but no offense. It's like, ugh, that's a lot of money and a lot of time. You know what I mean?
When I was working at, I liked how I used this last time, that place. I needed to find products that worked well with others because how you gain people's trust is someone going home and being able to do it themselves. And without that working well with others, you don't really get that. So especially like with eye palettes, like if you're only using 3 shades of it, just go get singles from another brand or start with drugstore shades and blend. Concealer is one of those things that I think spending the money on it is worth it because you're putting it in your most vulnerable places.
It's just finding it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you believed that a radiant concealer would work for your skin type until we tried it and you were like, oh wait, I like this. And why I think a dewy, same reason, I think a dewy concealer picks up powder without it getting cakey or flaky.
But also, remember how like both of us weren't sure about Shape Tape?
Yes.
And you're like, I've tried it, I've used it, I've tried it, I've used it, like I'm not crazy about it. And then you put it on my face and you were like, what the
Yeah, it works. I think that that's something you are. So I'm just going to have you look dead on. So what I did here is I put the concealer right down and I like to blend it up. This just gives a nice bright lifting effect. And what it does is it cuts out any mistakes that you did with your eyeshadow. I took a wipe and just kind of cleaned up the sides first. But if you're in a rush, you can just skip right to that step. And I take the concealer really far into the nose just to cut out any pinkness. I go right around the lip. I like to always go through the chin. Most people get their breakouts through their chin anyway, but I like being right here and kind of focusing everything in. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking a darker shade of the Armani foundation and we're going to contour with it. So your concealer is done, which is awesome. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is a Chanel.
Can you go back real quick?
Yeah.
You contour with foundation.
To start.
Got it, okay.
And then we'll go in with powder in a minute. So all I'm going to do, this is going to seem really dark, but I'm going to use small amounts of it.
Just going to beat the my face. Got it.
Yeah, so this is a really dense brush. You can use your beauty blender to do this. I like to start with a really dense brush. And this foundation, I want to say it's on the thinner side. It definitely doesn't have a feel like double wear. Need a minute?
Nope.
I apply this in kind of like a 3 and an E. I'm sure that's something that has been used by every makeup person. But all I'm doing,
all he finna do.
I'm just going over where I'm going to contour, and by doing this, I'm going to be using less product in the end, and this helps blend everything. So if you're starting to learn how to contour, cream is way easier to take off and to kind of control.
He said, take off? Okay, damn.
It's easier to control versus powder. And then I'm going to make a little V on your nose. Don't make a comment. Don't. And I'm connecting that right into her eye shape that I kind of made up. And then I just go over the bottom of the nose. I sent you the picture of this. Did I send you?
Why get plastic surgery when you can do this?
Take the beauty blender.
And beat you again.
And beat you.
Can you beat to the right of my nose because it's itchy?
Yeah, of course. We're getting there anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's going to be like one brown spot.
I follow this girl who I listen to her podcast, Kara Brown, and she's just like in the best way, like a little critical of everyone, and it makes for such good dry humor.
Okay.
And so she did yeah, exactly. So she obviously everyone's bored, like quarantining, right? And she's like, do a Q&A, and someone said best like entertaining, like most entertaining housewife, and she said Lou. She was like, she's a hot mess, but like you can't tell me she has not been one of the most entertaining people on television the last decade. I'm like. True, because people would say Ramona, no?
That's so personal preference. Ramona, I don't feel.
Here's the thing. Ramona's a monster. an actual like definition of a monster, but I don't want her ever off of my TV. Whereas I feel like you have more emotion with Luann.
So I'm going in.
She's like,
no, I'm just trying to keep us moving. Makeup Forever. This is a pressed powder foundation, and this is in shade R210.
D2.
R2D2. And what I'm going to have you do is look all the way up, and I'm going to bake her face with this. So I'm taking this.
Oh, have we ever baked with the pressed powder?
Yeah, once. I was using Chanel powders for that, but we're going to mix it up. What I like about this literally has velvet in its name, but it gives a really, really, really soft, focused finish, which for somebody that wants to look good in person, this is a really, really good one because it kind of blurs any imperfections.
Oh, yeah. That's a big thing for me. Obviously, I like looking good in pictures, but I can't stand looking one way with all of these lights and pictures and then going out in real life and not looking the same as this.
So she's the hardest client because she not only doesn't understand that that's impossible, but what she...
No, what I'm saying is I would rather you do my makeup and it photograph horribly and then I go out and people still know that it's me.
Person.
Yeah, big time.
So, no, don't apologize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another color that's closer to the foundation color that we used, and I'm still using a beauty blender. This one's not as damp. This is Y375, and what I like about these colors is that there's a huge range for any skin tone, so if you're warmer, if you're cooler, this makes it really easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of blend the two lines together, and then I'm going to start to pack over the rest of her foundation.
We haven't even talked about Tom Brady.
Little violin. I'm going to get dragged for that by every one of my family members.
Actually, Ryan said it best. He was like, honestly, it was going to happen at some point.
Right.
I just thought it wasn't going to be moving to another team. I thought it was just going to be retired.
Yeah, retired. I mean, I think that
the whole Super Bowl ad was weird. Like, I'm not going anywhere. You mean out of the NFL, apparently. You could have told all of New England that.
I think that something definitely happened, whether it was a money agreement, a time agreement. Sure. But the man doesn't need money, so...
But really, are you at that age where, like, you're that dead set on winning one more, like, championship? Like, is that really what it is?
Well, he's a professional athlete. I would hope he's dead set on winning something else, because whatever team...
No one's going to come after you. They're going to come after me for saying that.
I would hope.
Is it really about your job? You really love your job that much?
He's going to be like, yes,
Go
yes,
sports.
I'm going to take an even darker powder now, and I'm going to contour with it. I'm going to use a brush this time. Just preference again.
Hey, old friend. No, I'm kidding.
And what I'm going to do, I feel like we're getting a special guest right now. I can hear Theo.
Oh my God.
Everywhere. Theo's my dog.
I need Theo right now.
And I'm just softly and like going in as...
Can I look?
Yeah. This is baking.
Stop.
This is the most you makeup I've ever done.
Oh my God.
So
There's not a shimmer in sight.
Kate licks her face as powdered as a powdered donut.
And then some, are you kidding?
And I'm more of like a sprinkles, maybe like a jelly donut with like some fun stuff inside, but still powdered and baking on the outside.
Okay, wait, can I go back to Housewives real quick?
Yeah,
But
sure.
I promise it's makeup related.
Yeah.
Do you remember Teddy's first season in Beverly Hills? Mm-hmm. And she's out to lunch with Lisa Rinna. And Teddy's on this whole spiel about how, like, she doesn't do the whole, like, Beverly Hills thing, like, all the glam.
Wait
and this,
season 2.
as Lisa Rinna's, like, using her Chanel, like, powdering her face, like, mm-hmm.
We are not a Housewives video. We're not.
But we can be.
I'm just taking this bronzer down the neck. And this is it's technically a foundation, so a little goes a long way, and you can really blend it out. This is what's nice about this product, is you kind of have as much control as you want, or you need. And
Sorry, I'm checking my phone. I control
take an in-between color and just kind of soften all the lines.
I'm going to ask a stupid question.
Yeah.
All the ways that you can contour, like, you can literally, like, contour boobs.
Yeah.
Right? Do people ever do that with, like, their neck and, like, the gobbler and
you'll
stuff?
see that this has become a really big, like, your
collarbones
décolleté,
for sure,
collarbones.
but
all through. I know it's a thing in drag to try to get rid of your Adam's apple. So I know that
I didn't even think about that.
So I know that there are cheating ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is still baking underneath her eye. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with blush, which is my favorite part. I may be a little over the top of my blush.
Glug, 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 glug.
I'm going to use the Patrick Ta She's Passionate.
You make me love blush.
Wow.
Because I just went through a phase where I just loved the concealer and like that like stark contrast between like the concealer and then like the foundation and the bronzer. Like I just love like how it like almost like meshed together.
Yeah.
But you don't really realize how much.
I mean, I don't want to make anybody look like a beige wall. I want someone to still look lively and very much like themselves. And you're somebody that's naturally flushed.
Maybe you need a glass of wine.
I feel like I speak better with a glass of wine, so maybe I'm doing this all wrong. Where I'm putting this is just kind of in between where we just contoured, and I put my blush kind of high compared to most people, but I really like the finish, and then I put my blush in a dome around my concealer and around where I contoured. So kind of the in-between shade. And then that's something that you learned from me is that I really like the finish with kind of like a rosy natural glow.
I didn't ever realize that blush can go somewhere besides your cheeks.
I think it's what looks the most natural is when you're incorporating it in the rest of your face. I think it's the same thing as the bronzer when you said like, oh, I was only putting my bronzer and I wasn't putting it everywhere else. Same thing with the blush. You want everything to look kind of well blended and well put together, and you get a really good finish by doing this in multiple steps. And then this is Y365 again. You okay?
Yawning. It's really early. It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
She only wishes. Look all the way up. And then I just dust this.
Oh my god, sorry. I'm a professional, I promise. This is the fastest you've ever done my makeup. Yeah, I know we're not done, but like...
Oh, we're close. What I like about this is that we're using things that we know are going to leave you with good skin. So the amount of powder we're using, it might be a lot for somebody on the first try, but kind of finding their balance. Yeah, not for you. And finding your balance is really where it's at. And what I like about going with that powder one more time is you're, again, blending the line between the blush. And then one last trick that I don't like this to bake for the whole time, but taking that same brush, so it's still going to have a little bit of the warmer color on it, and then with that light powder, I just like to sweep right under my contour, and this gives a really nice cut to the cheeks. And then I'm immediately...
Okay, but Lumienne's cheeks in her mugshot was...
Well, that's filler.
I thought she's always had...
Well, she's always had good cheeks, but, I mean, there's no way.
Good set of lashes can fix anything. Even a mugshot. I'm so mad. That's all I know. I have no knowledge of anything except for Real Housewives.
Okay, so I think we're going to pause, and then I'm going to stack some lashes onto your lash, and then we'll come back and we'll do some finishing stuff.
Perfect. All right, guys, this is normally how I wake up in the morning. I haven't honestly even drank enough water. I'm super swollen. I haven't done my routine yet. Just kidding.
So I'm just going to break down what we just did. So after reviewing on the camera, I felt like we needed more blush. So now she looks like one of the members of Rudolph, the little stuffed animals, Clarice. And we popped some lashes on, we put some mascara on, top and bottom. Bottom we used brown, top we used black. That's just my personal opinion. It's my opinion. I like the look. I like the focus to be on the top. Also, when putting on the lashes, I didn't drag them out super long and I didn't pull them all the way in, and I just used individuals from Kiss. We're going to line her lip, do her lip, and finish everything up. But I just want to finish the eye with you guys. And what I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take the original palette of what I did her eye with. And I'm just going to take this like neutral one in the middle. Look all the way up. And I'm just going to blend this right underneath her lashes. And I did the mascara first just for the ease of recording, but you can most definitely wait to do your bottom mascara till after this step. Her mascara is also completely dry.
Oh, look, my eyes. Oh my God.
Okay, so if she doesn't cry it off, this is going to be
sitting up in my room.
Brandy can solve anything. This is Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude Liner. And I'm just going to take this, and I always start right along the edge. I see some people that work from the middle out. And I like this to be really heavy right here, but I don't like to overline the entire bottom. This is just going to make it look pouty. I want to bring up the volume from the top and the bottom. I don't want it to just be huge. Huge.
Huge.
You don't need to do the purse with it. And then Kate has naturally darker lips. So berries, darker nudes, those type of tones work really well. And then pinks can end up looking really artificial and kind of Barbie-esque. So
we don't know her.
We've also applied Pat McGrath's Lip Fetish throughout the process, just keeping your lips super moisturized so you're not going in to do your lip and everything's crusty. So once that's done, I'm going to go in with Kylie. This is One Wish. This is one of the minis from the holiday collection. And if you're using a matte lip, you definitely want to make sure that you've put some chapstick or a lip oil on first. And I'm pulling this right through all the way to the liner. What we're going to use today is the Pat McGrath, and I'm going to focus on this pinky tone and this bronze tone, but I'm going to rub through.
Okay, so let's say for someone like me who has always strayed away from highlighter, how do you combat like your oiliness, your shininess, with also still wanting to wear this?
I think you focus on making sure it's a powder and making sure that it's a really small fleck in the glitter, so it's not just like sparkly. So once you do start to get a little bit dewier or you do start to build up oil, it won't react with if you have to go powder in your nose, because if you use a cream, just like why I use the foundation, it's going to stick to it and you're just going to kind of go really matte really quick, where this blends really well together. And then I kind of just take this and kind of like a peace sign almost, and then just, I love a little bit of light above the brow. Because with all the makeup, especially with full coverage foundations and concealers and everything we've done step by step, you can lose the dimension in your face. And I really don't want to do that. I'm just taking this down the top of the bridge of her nose. I'm not going to put any at the bottom because we just did all that work to contour. And then you're stopping like right there. And then we're going to take this a little bit, just with my finger, pressing between the two, dragging down, right over lip, and then just the excess just on the chin. You can take a little bit through the brow bone if you really feel like, if you're feeling risky. We're just going to take it and just pop it right underneath. And again, you could wait to do your brow gel until you're done with all your powders. But I'm just being super careful with a really small blending brush. And I'm also going to take this right through the inside of the eye. Keeping the inside of the eye really bright is definitely what you want to do with any look. So whether it's a matte eye or a sparkly eye, just keeping that nice and bright. And that's it. So this is it. We're going to set spray. And this is something you have to, so you want to make sure you shake this up too. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. This is just for Kate to be able to sit on my couch and not have her makeup melt off.
It's really crazy how it happens.
And that's our look today.
Okay, so this is it. This is definitely by far my favorite look that Pat has ever done on me. Oh my God, there I go calling you Pat again. Good God.
Okay, see you later. This is great.
Bye. No, I like a super powdered, super matte look. Everything that we did was very doable. I also feel like the multiple powders that we did, the powder contour, the powder highlight, like everything like made a huge difference, don't you think?
And I think that you being able to take like one little thing from each little class we do together, I think is awesome. And then we'll tackle eyes, everything else a different day, but Now we're gonna get dressed up and sit on the couch and watch the Jersey reunion.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Glug, glug, glug.
Maybe.